this. So this is the children's book, and again, I can't remember what it is, but we'll get to it. So it looks like a creature like that would be almost look like Satan there. So you might be like, well, it's just a monster, So okay, we'll go on to it. And when people do the Illuminati videos, including me, they use the pyramid, right? So like if you didn't know, they have like a card game, Illuminati, and they use that. They want people to get into the occult and witchcraft and magic. So like they put the stuff in cartoons because they're trying to get your children, okay? It's a spiritual battle. They're after your children. This is Disney again, all about witchcraft. And people say, oh, Disney, the happiest place on earth. How about the saddest place on earth is Disneyland? If that stuff really happens, which I think it seems like it does.
No longer 1937.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
I believe that King James says they became vain in their imaginations and their foolish hearts were darkened. When you're vain in your imaginations, what you do, you imagine things that are not real and you worship them as if they are real. Let me give you a good example of this. Here's a stark example of how you become vain in your imaginations. You take Disney World and you set Disney World on one hand. You take the Vatican and set it on the other hand. Now I'm going to show you the parallels between Disney World and the Vatican. Both of them are magic kingdoms with big castles sitting up in the magic kingdom. St. Peter's Basilica is one castle. Mickey Mouse's castle is the other castle. In both magic kingdoms you have a central figure that is worshipped. Mickey Mouse at Disney World, the Pope at the Vatican.
I mean, just it adds up, right? They're always after children in Disney, and what are they into? Witchcraft. And when you're into witchcraft, you're into all kinds of immorality, as far as those things go, as far as being lewd and it's licentious, and in other words, being just debauchery, as far as going against God and on all those things. And they have a thing for children, Disney, so it just they want them to get into like their witchcraft. And I eat kids, right there. It's supposed to be a children's book, and again, if it'd be one thing if you're a witch or something, don't really care about your children if they get ate or something, because that's what witchcraft they do and stuff. But this, if you're if you're supposed to be consider yourself a Christian, are you for evil? I just got to ask you, because if you are, the Bible says, okay, then I don't want you to do evil, but if that's your choice, I guess God says in his book that go for evilness then. Not that he really wants a person, he wants a person to do good, but it gets to the point where it's like, okay, if you're trying to, I'll do this, and then but I'm for Disney and they eat kids and stuff, and I don't care what you say, I'm still going to support. It's like, really? So where's the line here? If you're for something that's satanic, witchcraft, and they're eating children. But no, it's okay, we got freedom. The God of the Bible judges wickedness and evilness and calls everyone to be holy, otherwise you're not going to go to heaven. If you're not holy. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to be a little bit holy, a little bit wicked, I'm going to be a little bit of Christian, I'm going to be a little bit for magic and witchcraft, I'm going to be a little bit for, horror, and be this and keep going. Like, and again, God's the judge, and he knows like what a person knows, and are they willfully doing this, are they ignorant? But even if they're ignorant, it's something you shouldn't be doing. And if you can't see it, then it's like, why is that? But maybe you didn't see it, so that's why I'm doing this video. And I forget what this is even called, but I couldn't believe it. And I think this is like volume 3 or 4. I have no idea what this stuff is even. I mean, like, some of us have been, since we're older now, we don't know what's even going on with some of this stuff. And I have nieces, but like the parents or mom buys some stuff and I don't allow it. And so I don't get to see some of this. So I looked at one with love potions. So they're promoting what would be called white witchcraft, which is still, we would say, satanic, evil witchcraft. You'd be condemned to death in the Old Testament, stoned to death, suffer a witch not to live. So in the Old Testament, that'd be the death penalty, guys.
You take a 2-year-old child down to Disney World and you show him Mickey Mouse, he's going to think Mickey Mouse is real. He's going to say, Mom, Dad, that's Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Let me go see them. Let me take pictures with them. Mickey! Be running behind Mickey Mouse, knowing Mickey Mouse is real, not taking into account that you just saw Mickey Mouse around the corner. Then you go around the other corner, there's another one, and then you go across the park, and he got about 50 of them down there. But he thinks that's the same person that's showing up different locations. The 2-year-old mind now, a fantasy-stricken, imaginary mind, making up a figure and receiving that figure is real. Go over to the Vatican. You'll find the Pope there, walking around, imaginary figure, conjured up through Constantinople's mind to actually merge Rome with a church that they can control. Now a billion folk believe the Pope is real, like a 2-year-old kid believes Mickey Mouse is real. They see the Pope, they pay homage to them, they got they're at the altar with rosary beads, praying and crying because the Pope walks by. Mickey Mouse wears a cone-shaped magician's hat. The Pope wears a cone-shaped magician's hat that's worshiping Dagon, the fish god. It's actually a fish's mouth cut out in the Pope's hat that's worshiping Dagon, the fish god. That's why it looks like it looks. It's a mitre that worships and pays homage to Dagon, the fish god, which the Philistines worshiped back in the days of Samson. You remember when Samson destroyed the temple, he pushed over the pillars in the temple and destroyed the fish god, Dagon. The Pope is nothing more than a priest of Dagon. Imagining that this person is real, they pay homage to him. Mickey Mouse came out of the mind of a man, Walt Disney, who was years ago. He came as a magician with a cone-shaped hat doing magic tricks. And the kids have worshipped him all these years. He's got a magic kingdom. He's got a multi-billion-dollar empire set up and built around Mickey Mouse. The same is true of the Pope. King of homosexuals, $2.6 billion paid out in reparations to people who have been and have been victims of pedophilia performed by renegade, wild dog, priests. With a whole lineage of people around the world who defend these sodomites because they've been taken over by the mind of these sodomites. Parallels.
The Disney Bloodline, Part 1. The Illuminati have refined the art of deception far beyond what the average person could imagine. The very life and liberty of humanity depend on exposing their deceptions, and that is the purpose of this book. Honesty is an essential ingredient for any society to function successfully. However, deception has become a widespread practice, beginning with our business and political leaders and cascading down to the grassroots level. The deceptions associated with the Illuminati's mind control may be hidden, but their aftermath creates tidal waves of distrust that are dismantling America. While the CIA claims to act in the nation's best interest, anyone who has seriously studied the effects of deception on a society knows it inevitably leads to collapse. Lies erode communities, as trust and honesty are fundamental to effective communication and productivity. Trust is the foundation upon which human relationships and institutions are built. When trust is destroyed, human institutions crumble. If an individual distrusts another's words, they are also likely to doubt the person's fairness, goodwill, and intent to refrain from harm. Such fears create a toxic environment that undermines the cooperation necessary for societal stability. The millions of victims subjected to total mind control are stripped of all trust, subconsciously spreading their fear and distrust throughout society. One of the issues with lies is their tendency to multiply. A single lie often necessitates another, then another, until the liar becomes entangled in a web of deceit that demands significant energy to maintain. This is the unfortunate predicament intelligence agencies find themselves in today. These agencies must maintain teams to monitor and manage the lies spread by their double agents, ensuring that inconsistencies do not arise. Eventually, they become so immersed in disinformation that they lose their grip on reality. Rather than preserving the nation, intelligence agencies have spread the cancer of deception into every facet of life, contaminating and destroying the United States' values and sovereignty. The erosion of this nation's moral foundation is a direct result of this malignancy. Attendees of high-level Illuminati meetings have reportedly been instructed on how to orchestrate the rise of the New World Order and Antichrist reign by ensuring their actions appear natural. The Illuminati have strategically masked their operations to avert suspicion. For instance, the O.J. Simpson's case was allegedly staged based on prior murder scenarios that had been successfully covered up. O.J. Simpson was purportedly a CIA mind-controlled asset, and the entire case was an elaborate effort to incite racial tensions. Various groups, including the Mishpucha, the CIA, the mob, and the Illuminati, were allegedly involved in the affair. This manipulation extends to key individuals. Joey Ippolito, Jr., a figure connected to both the CIA and the mob, allegedly oversaw operations in a mob-protected subdivision in Florida. Simpson, reportedly an associate of Ippolito, distributed drugs for The Combination, an entity linked to the Illuminati. Even Simpson's legal defense team was said to have ties to these networks. The trial's proceedings were rife with allegations of corruption. Nicole Simpson lived next door to Carl Colby, the son of former CIA Director William Colby, whose family reportedly experienced mind control. Nicole's proximity to these figures only deepens the intrigue. A juror in Simpson's case, Tracy Hampton, reportedly experienced a breakdown linked to mind control programming, leading to her dismissal. During the trial, Judge Ito notably gave journalist Joe McGinnis a prime front row seat. McGinnis, known for his role in covering up the McDonald Fort Bragg drug smuggling case, exemplifies how disinformation and cover-ups intersect. The McDonald Fort Bragg drug smuggling operation highlights how the Illuminati allegedly exploited U.S. military operations during the Vietnam War for illicit gains. This example underscores a broader pattern of manipulation and control. An article from the September 11, 1967, issue of the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, illustrates how these efforts at obfuscation extend into academic and medical discourse. Written by 3 CIA-affiliated doctors, the article posited that riots were caused by brain disease, subtly dismissing the possibility of mind control or other external influences. The Illuminati view any form of deception, whether it involves exaggerating or downplaying their capabilities, as a valuable tool. History offers examples of how misinformation has been weaponized, such as the sinking of the German battleship Bismarck, which was partly due to a false report by a double agent underestimating the range of British radar. Deception diminishes power. Knowledge is power, and lies diminish the understanding of those who are deceived, thereby reducing their power. Deception obscures the choices available to people and clouds the objectives they might pursue. Many individuals abandon their goals due to false perceptions, believing those goals to be either undesirable or unattainable. Programming deceptions. In mind control programming, colors and directions are often used. Programmers sometimes employ their imaginations, incorporating elements like the color octarine or directions such as turnwise and widdershins. During the foundational programming, which often involves LSD trips in sensory deprivation tanks, the alpha, beta, delta, omega, and theta programs are established. Each programming memory is assigned a code. One common deception is that programmers deliberately sequence memory codes in misleading ways. For instance, the 5th memory might be coded as the first trip, and intensive methods are employed to make the victim forget the initial 4 trips. These deceptive memory codes are designed to confuse both the victim and any potential deprogrammer. The programming is further protected by extreme measures, such as backup programs that trigger catastrophic responses if the fundamental programs are uncovered. These backups include atom bomb and vegetable programming, which are deeply embedded to safeguard the primary controls. Be wise as serpents. The Holy Spirit inspired an apostle to write, "We are not ignorant of Satan's devices." Christ also instructed his disciples to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Before entering the Promised Land, the Israelites sent spies to assess the situation. In The Art of War by Sun Tzu, written in 500 BC, the concept of hidden provocation agents is discussed in Book 13. Just as the ancient farmer has evolved into a highly efficient modern counterpart, the agent provocateur of today is vastly superior to those of Sun Tzu's era. The Bible's warning that God's people are destroyed for lack of knowledge remains as relevant as ever. In today's world, obtaining honest information is a formidable challenge. An intelligence asset once observed, "If you are lucky and work hard, you will find some of the truth." If you are lucky and work really hard, you might find the whole truth as someone wants you to know it. If you are phenomenally lucky and really work your tail off, you might even discover the real truth. But no outsiders, and very few insiders, ever learn the whole real truth. This book, as well as the two previous works on mind control, is the result of relentless effort and numerous miracles, or what non-Christians might call incredible luck. The journey to uncover these truths has required the authors to swim upstream for years. During 7 years of exposing the New World Order, NWO, the author has faced resistance from nearly every prominent figure believed to oppose the NWO. Readers should be aware that the NWO strategically created its own opposition long before genuine whistleblowers emerged. It is the author's informed opinion that almost all, approximately 98% of those leading the opposition to the NWO are double agents, and no less than 50% of therapists are similarly compromised. In this context, the author has observed that half of the licensed therapists working with dissociative identity disorder, DID patients, are themselves programmed DID slaves. Recently, a local therapist who had appeared on a television talk show revealing her experience as a survivor of ritual abuse, SRA, and DID, was targeted and discredited by organizations like the False Memory Syndrome Foundation and the Illuminati. Disinformation to make their double agents look good. A force was a unit within MI6 responsible for deception operations. They would have their double agents distribute chicken feed, a term for classified information that could be safely leaked to establish their agents' credibility. This tactic, known as establishing bona fides, gave the illusion that the double agents were opposing the British. Today, numerous individuals who present themselves as anti-NWO are actually double agents. By disseminating chicken feed, they create the impression of legitimacy. Interestingly, MI6, whose headquarters is in Vauxhall Cross, England, with a training center at Fort Monkton, has been cryptonymously referred to as Carousel by Mossad, its associated organization. An example of a double agent popular among Christians is an Illuminati witch named Gretchen Passantino. She frequently attends Christian conferences where she dismisses the reality of mind control. Dr. Loretta Fox reports in The Spiritual and Clinical Dimensions of MPD that 74% of women abused through satanic ritual abuse, SRA, come from so-called Christian homes. The infiltration of Christian churches by such agents is extensive. Sleeper agents. In Volume 2 of this series, several references were made to sleeper agents. The concept of placing someone in society, allowing them to lead a normal life for years without being activated, is a strategic move designed to create a convincing facade. Mind-controlled slaves are particularly suited to serve as sleeper agents. The idea of sleeper agents is no secret. The CIA has publicly admitted to investigating potential long-term sleeper agents. For example, they examined the Los Niños children of Republican Spain, descendants of communist Spaniards who returned to Spain in the 1950s. Similarly, they scrutinized the Trebizond Greeks, who lived near the USSR and Turkey before returning to Greece in the same era. Just as the CIA sought to uncover sleeper agents from these populations, it is reasonable to assume they also deployed their own sleeper agents against the KGB, reflecting the Hegelian dialectic between these intelligence organizations. Names of types of disinformation agents. Intelligence agencies use specific terminology to categorize their disinformation agents. While we have already discussed double and sleeper agents, here are additional classifications. Agent of influence. These individuals, who may be unwitting, under mind control, or ideologically driven, use their positions to sway others. Examples include television anchors, journalists, labor leaders, commentators, academics cited by the media, and certain politicians. Confusion agent. These agents spread contradictory or baffling information to create confusion. Contract agent. Independent operatives, such as members of organized crime, hired to perform specific tasks. Their connections to the hiring agency can be plausibly denied. Deep cover agent. Long-term sleeper agents, often with mind control programming, embedded within a target group or society. Disinformation agent. Highly placed individuals who disseminate false information to mislead foreign governments. Notional agent. A fictitious entity created with a convincing identity to mislead or confuse targets. Provocation. Agents sent to provoke or destabilize a target group, often inciting irrational actions. Spoon-feeder agent. These agents share small amounts of accurate information mixed with disinformation. They aim to build credibility before gradually increasing the amount of misleading content. It is important to recognize that many individuals who claim to expose the New World Order, NWO, are, in fact, spoon-feeder agents. While they may reveal some legitimate information, their ultimate goal is to mislead. Sadly, truly legitimate whistleblowers often face severe repercussions, including assassination. Agents involved in mind control operations may appear innocent and trustworthy, provide accurate information, or say and do things to manipulate others. They may even refer to fictitious associates to enhance their credibility. Identifying such agents requires discernment, which is often lacking in the general population. Unfortunately, many people fail to recognize the true agenda behind such agents, and instead choose them as sources of information, which is frequently disinformation. The indoctrination permeating both secular society and the church needs to be purged. Many churches, described as harlot churches, have become complicit in spreading false teachings. Meanwhile, the credentialing systems controlling therapists and other professionals are often manipulated by those perpetuating mind control, ensuring their agents receive the best qualifications. The depth of the power structures behind mind control cannot be overstated. Tricking suspects. One tactic used against suspects involves creating a staged situation. The suspect is arrested and placed in a scenario where two groups are present. One group appears to be the police, and the other pretends to be from the suspect's organization. In this setup, the fake arrested group overpowers the police, creating the illusion of an escape. The suspect is then brought to a secondary location, where another group, also pretending to be from their organization, interrogates them for their credentials. Believing the deception, the suspect divulges critical information, which was the goal of the operation. This method is referred to in English intelligence as cackle bladder, because fake blood, often referred to as chicken blood, is used to make the police actors appear injured. The names of deception tricks. Intelligence agencies employ specific terms for their deceptive tactics. Four faces, pretexts used by agents to secure interviews. Dangle, the act of luring a target into a provocation. A dangle operation is designed to provoke a group or individual into taking a specific action. This tactic has been used in operations involving groups like Elohim City and others the NWO seeks to manipulate. Standard deception devices. Agents often use specialized devices in their operations. For instance, bleep boxes are employed to tap telephones or make free calls. Another tool, the cabman, allows agents to remotely activate a telephone using a radio beam, all without entering the building where the phone is located. The use of masks in the occult world dates back centuries. Gypsies, for example, have long employed masks for their supposed hypnotic powers. These groups also maintain secret rituals for creating healing masks, which are used exclusively by their people. These masks are often made using hair clippings from the intended wearer and are destroyed after serving their purpose. In the Illuminati's programming practices, masks play a significant role. Victims of mind control have described the organization's advanced abilities in mask making. In some cases, simple Halloween masks resembling cartoon characters are used to fulfill roles in programming scripts. These masks can hold shock and fascination value, adding to their effectiveness in rituals and manipulations. Some people new to studying the workings of the world order may wonder why the Illuminati would create slaves who take on the roles of evangelists or religious leaders. The answer lies in control. Converts drawn in by evangelists are often funneled into establishment churches, where programmed leaders demand obedience, citing scripture to justify their authority. Even when a convert believes they have found God, the Illuminati maintain control through these religious systems. The Christians invested in shielding the Illuminati's infiltration of church leadership are as complicit as the Illuminati themselves. Consider the consequences if it were revealed that much of Christendom is managed by Illuminati agents who engage in human sacrifice and slavery. The Illuminati's use of covers can also be understood through their monopolistic approach. Just as they dominate industries by eliminating or owning competitors, they seek control over religious groups. While communism created a monopoly on worship in Russia, the United States presents a different challenge. Here, the Illuminati control various religious denominations through money, blackmail, and programmed agents in leadership positions. Their strategy focuses on promoting the best-selling version of Christianity. Televised charismatic Christianity, for example, has proven to be the most marketable. To maintain appearances, slaves often lead legitimate lives as missionaries, military officers, or salespeople. However, their true role as mind-controlled operatives remains hidden beneath these covers. Organizations also serve as effective covers for Illuminati activities. For example, the Asia Foundation, an academic organization created by the CIA. Castlebank and Trust Co., a Caribbean-based CIA front. Forum World Features, a propaganda front based in London. Geschichter Foundation for Medical Research, a front for laundering money used in mind control experiments. Air Sea Forwarders, Inc. in Trans, a CIA front corporation in North Hollywood involved in freight operations. One of the rare instances of exposure occurred when this company proved in court that it was a CIA front despite denials. One of the greatest deceptions of all time, Disney. For years, many Americans have felt that something is deeply wrong in the country, though they struggle to identify the root cause. Initially, when reports emerged from victims of Illuminati mind control linking Disney to their trauma, I approached the claims with caution. However, after thorough investigation, I am convinced that Disney, its founder, films, and entertainment parks, has played a significant role in America's moral decline. While maintaining an image of wholesomeness, Disney has served as a powerful tool for the Illuminati's agenda. Disney, one of the greatest deceptions of the Illuminati. In this chapter, we delve into why Disney stands as one of the most effective deceptions orchestrated by the Illuminati. Having read extensively on Disney, this exposé represents one of the most in-depth analyses ever undertaken. My motivation partly stems from frustration with Christians who naively view Disney as a symbol of sainthood. Many Christians who ought to discern better have wholly embraced the illusion that Disney represents wholesomeness and the best of American values. These same individuals unknowingly expose their children to occultism and witchcraft because they have been conditioned to trust Disney's carefully crafted image. Numerous authors over the years have attempted to expose Disney's true nature. Most were silenced before publishing their findings. Those who succeeded faced relentless attacks on their character, intense public relations campaigns funded by Disney, and significant personal and professional challenges. The immense power wielded by Disney and those behind it has deterred many from speaking out. However, it is vital to speak on behalf of the victims, whether or not people listen. Victims deserve to know that someone cared enough to expose the truth. Over the years, Disney has not only left mind control victims in its wake, but also harassed landowners, exploited employee ideas, and caused harm in countless other ways. Today, Disney has risen to become the largest media and entertainment conglomerate in the world, even earning a ranking of number 48 on Forbes' list of the top 500 companies. How the Illuminati hide behind perfect fronts. The Illuminati often disguise their operations behind meticulously maintained facades. From homes and restaurants to wineries and other institutions, they adhere to the same rigid standards once upheld by Walt Disney Studios. In the 1930s, Disney enforced a strict dress code. Men were required to wear ties, and women wore somber-colored skirts. Any man caught looking lecherously at a woman risked immediate termination. Walt Disney exemplified legalistic strictness. In the 1950s, employees caught uttering words like "hell" were fired on the spot. Male employees were prohibited from growing facial hair, even though Walt himself sported a mustache. Alcohol was banned at the studios, despite Walt's habit of consuming significant amounts of alcohol in his private office. At one point, Walt reluctantly allowed his young artists, trained by Don Graham, to sketch live nude models. This decision was not made out of a desire to honor God, but to protect the studio's reputation. The media, heavily influenced by Disney's establishment connections, ensured that news of these sessions never became public. Behind these strict moral facades often lurk guilt and sinister rituals. For example, Walt Disney, much like Adolf Hitler, was obsessive about cleanliness. Walt washed his hands several times an hour, potentially reflecting deep-seated guilt. This behavior is mirrored in certain mind control victims who, when reliving traumatic memories, obsessively wash their hands in an attempt to cleanse themselves of perceived guilt. Exclusive restaurants and institutions tied to mind control and criminal activities similarly maintain pristine appearances, funded by dirty money, that sustains their polished exteriors. The Disney image, meticulously crafted and protected. Walt Disney worked tirelessly to cultivate an impeccable image for himself and his company. An example of this is his explosive reaction to seeing a Disney character featured in a beer advertisement. He wrote an angry memo condemning the decision. To bolster his reputation further, Walt employed Joe Reddy, a dedicated image builder. Joe Reddy, a cigar-smoking Irishman with a passion for Notre Dame football, also served as a publicity agent for Shirley Temple. Yet the Disney deception extends far beyond Reddy's work or Walt's personal efforts. The entire Illuminati machinery supported Walt Disney, much like it did for Billy Graham. Walt Disney and Ronald Reagan shared a close friendship and many similarities. Both were high-ranking Freemasons, hailed from socialist backgrounds. Walt's father was a socialist leader, and Reagan's mother was a close friend of Eleanor Roosevelt, served as paid FBI informants, and were implicated in the abuse of mind-controlled individuals. Walt supported Reagan's political campaigns generously, and Reagan, in turn, returned favors when he served as governor of California. For instance, Reagan helped Disney secure a road through Sequoia National Park for the construction of Disney's Mineral King Mountain Resort, despite significant congressional efforts to preserve the park's redwoods. Reagan and the Disney connection Ronald Reagan served as the MC for Disneyland's opening day on July 17, 1995. He returned alongside Illuminati-associated television host Art Linkletter for the 35th anniversary. Both Reagan and Linkletter publicly endorsed Disney. Another known associate of Walt Disney was Bob Hope, a notorious abuser who frequently spent time with Disney on the golf course. During the opening day telecast, cameras captured notable figures such as Sammy Davis Jr., a member of the Church of Satan, and Frank Sinatra, a mind control handler, driving the miniature Disney cars at the Autopia ride. When Disney celebrated its 50th anniversary with a 2-hour special on May 20, 1991, occult figures like Bill Campbell were included in the program titled Best of Disney 50 Years of Magic. For the silver anniversary of Disney World in October 1996, the Clintons were invited to launch 15 months of festivities under the theme, Remember the Magic. During the event, a Boys and Girls Club choir performed When You Wish Upon a Star, a song commonly used in programming rituals. Hillary Rodham Clinton, herself an Illuminati grand dame and mind control programmer, shared with the audience how she and Bill had first brought their daughter Chelsea to the Magic Kingdom when she was 4 years old. Roy E. Disney, Walt's nephew, remarked that Disney World represents the story of men and women who took hold of a dream and never let go. This statement carries a chilling double meaning. Many victims of trauma-based mind control have clung to the illusions programmed into their minds at Disney facilities, unable to let them go. Disneyland has hosted numerous notable visitors, including every American president from Eisenhower to Clinton, over a dozen kings and queens, Emperor Akihito of Japan, Anwar Sadat, and Robert Kennedy, who once rode the Matterhorn with astronaut John Glenn. Among these visitors were Denmark's and Belgium's kings, both associated with the Illuminati, as well as infamous dictators such as Indonesia's leaders, the Shah of Iran, and Romania's Ceausescu. Roy E. Disney, on one occasion, was forewarned by an Arab leader that the Shah was about to be deposed. Disney's awards and honors, tools of manipulation. Throughout his career, Walt Disney received numerous accolades from organizations advancing a new world order. Early in his career, he was honored with the B'nai B'rith Man of the Year award and recognized by the Chamber of Commerce. In 1936, Walt was named Outstanding Young Man by the Chamber of Commerce. Esteemed universities such as Yale and Harvard awarded him honorary degrees, further cementing his reputation. Leonard Mosley, a Disney biographer known for his work on figures such as the DuPonts, the Dulles brothers, and Hirohito, revealed that Disney's publicity machine went to extraordinary lengths to protect Walt's image. According to Mosley, the studio portrayed Walt as a flawless figure, someone who never drank excessively, swore, lost his temper, or argued with his family. Mosley described the intense pressure placed on journalists to maintain this sanitized image. Reporters who implied Walt was anything less than perfect risked their careers, while editors and publishers faced retaliation through threats to advertising revenue. This meticulous image building exemplifies the Illuminati's ability to create compelling but deceptive narratives. Disney's hidden darkness. Behind Disney's polished exterior lies a sinister underbelly. To maintain its wholesome image while producing the typical Hollywood fare of sex and violence, Disney created subsidiaries such as Touchstone, Miramax, and Hollywood Pictures. These entities allowed Disney to produce adult content without tarnishing its family-friendly brand. What the public never saw, however, was the hardcore pornography produced in secret for the elite, along with snuff films, white slavery, and Illuminati mind control. The Disney Brothers' work has subtly and systematically seduced generations into witchcraft. Through seemingly innocent entertainment, Disney introduced occult themes into American culture. For instance, their film Alive subtly promoted cannibalism as a triumph of the human spirit, according to producer Robert Watts. Mickey Mouse himself stars in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, a story rife with occult imagery. Despite these dark underpinnings, many Christian parents vehemently defend Disney's supposed wholesomeness. They remain unaware of the subliminal messages embedded in Disney content. For example, the castles in The Little Mermaid resemble male sexual organs, and a Mighty Mouse cartoon depicts the character snorting cocaine. Under Joe Roth, chairman of Walt Disney Studios, the company and its subsidiaries operated clandestinely to promote, distribute, and rate films that served dual purposes: entertainment and indoctrination. This covert strategy has allowed Disney to maintain its reputation while subtly embedding occult and immoral themes into its content. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and I'll see you in our next video.